Good morning, I'm Jeff Coleman.
And I'm Debra Pinkerton. Welcome to Morning Light.
In just a moment, our Morning Light panel will go behind the headlines.
But first, here's a look at what's coming up a little bit later in the show. Help for those dealing with the reality of death and dying. In our Body and Soul segment, we will share how Christians can offer hope in the grip of grief. He is dealing with some grief right now.
Well, good morning, I'm Jeff Coleman.
And I'm Debra Pinkerton.
I didn't do that. In just a moment, our Morning Light headline. Sorry.
That's okay. I was flicking in my paper.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not wearing this outfit again. I'm doing it. Okay, we're good. We got the tag.
We got the tag. We basically have it.
We're ready.
I don't think we.
You're throwing me off. I'm not hearing music.
Well, good morning. I'm Jeff Coleman.
And I'm Debra Pinkerton. Well, you just watched some outtakes from a day when we were struggling during one of our early rehearsals.
That was a hard day. We're bringing you a special show to celebrate the 1-year anniversary of Morning Light.
It was really amazing. I can't believe it's been 1 year. Over the next half hour, we will share some of the journey we've been on this past year.
Morning Light is a show that is nothing like Lighthouse TV has ever produced.
We have brought you 230 episodes since it all started on August 19th, 2024.
This is a special time to be launching a new program, and it's in the middle of really one of the thickest, ugliest, low-down races that we have seen in a long time for President of the United States.
Where has God placed me? What is the sphere of influence that I have? So when I'm communicating with my neighbor, when I'm communicating with my children, or when I'm communicating with somebody who doesn't agree with me, that's the sphere of influence that I have. How can I make that better? If each person was doing that, then we're going to have a better world.
Talk to us about the mission's goal.
The goal is, of course, with the love of Christ in the forefront, is to serve those in need when they come to our doors, whatever that need is.
Well, typically at this time, I'd be talking with our Morning Light panel, so we invited one of our regular panelists, Alex Kochman with ABWE, to join us for this very special show.
So now the tables are really turned. Instead of us asking you questions, Alex, you're going to turn around and you're going to ask us the questions.
Yeah, the roles are reversed.
I'm a little nervous, to be honest.
You should be.
Yeah. Well, happy anniversary.
Thank you.
So where did the idea for Morning Light come from? And what sets it apart from other programming in its genre, in that Christian space, you would say?
Well, I think the idea for Morning Light is that you wanted a place where you could handle the biggest, most anxiety-driving fears of the day, the headlines, but instead of just looking at those headlines through the lens of politics or any other measurement, you say, if we really believe this stuff, if we're really Christians, how do we respond to these events in faith and not fear?
Yeah, absolutely, right? Looking through it through a Christian lens and really talking to a lot of different nonprofit agencies and see how they handle this and how they are really the hands and feet of Jesus Christ and how we can implement that in our lives and how we can spread the gospel too.
Yeah, so I love being on the panel. Each panel is a little different personalities there as well. What's the thought process behind that, and how do you pick out the panelists? Tell us about that, Jeff.
So I'd love to say that I pick out the panelists, but the panelists really hang together based on whose schedule, who's available that week. We try to have certainly geographical, gender, racial diversity on it. I don't want to, at the end of a program, say that we left out a certain piece of the Christian family out of it. So it's a pretty diverse makeup, but I don't want people who are necessarily subject matter experts. I mean, they can be people who are experts, but that's not the purpose of them being on the panel. They're there because they believe and they trust God, and guess what? They've made mistakes, they have doubts, they have failures the same way anybody else does. So instead of holding that back, bring your journey to the panel, and then let's just talk like real people. Yeah. So it's a real conversation.
Yeah, you're usually watching from the sidelines.
Right, and it is nice listening to it because you're hearing all different sides, and they all sort of blend together, and they come to the same consensus, which is great.
Do you feel wiser at the end of watching
I
the panel?
So here's a question. Do you know which panelist has appeared the most?
Okay, I'd say the panelist who has probably appeared the most times would be probably John Wetzel. And John Wetzel. John Wetzel. John Wetzel. John Wetzel. We're all commenting on how distinguished and good-looking this panel is this morning. And then John Wetzel.
Was I before or after the comment? Yes.
I'm going to say Cynthia.
Cynthia. Okay, good. That's a
And
good
that's
guess.
because I've seen her a lot, and she always brings donuts or something in.
This is probably why she gets invited back so often, right?
That is correct.
Really? Cynthia. Okay.
Yeah, that's great.
So I guess the moral of the story is bring baked goods and you'll get invited back.
Just goes to show what impression Wetzel's made on you, Jeff.
But Cynthia is such a wonderful guest because she is so, we hear it from our viewers all the time, she's so real.
Yeah. So you have a fun fact for us about the panel setup, don't you?
Yeah. So the fun fact is this: the actual lighthouse. If you step back and look at our set, the table, the round table that we're at, there used to be at the very top to make it an actual lighthouse, a little peak, kind of a strange-looking mountain cone hat on it. And we got rid of that because it was blocking the view of panelists, especially those who are height challenged.
Yeah, which we have a few of those.
Yeah, you are not.
I'm not. I'm not one of them. That's
Yeah.
right. Well, you have all sorts of different guests on the show all the time. You get to interview some wonderful people as well from all sorts of ministries, churches, nonprofits in the area, and then around the world, overseas, all of it. So what goes into the thinking behind that? How do you identify those? Are you going through the phone book? What are you doing?
Well, we do. We do our research, and really we try and focus on Christian nonprofits in central Pennsylvania and really beyond, throughout the state and beyond that. And it's a matter of contacting them and saying, this is who we are, or this is Morning Light, Lighthouse TV. Please be on our program. We would love to share your ministry, spread the gospel that way. So it takes time. We try and book our guests a month out. So it's certainly been God-driven for sure. And he has really laid it out for us. And we've been able to book guests really without too many problems.
If you ever felt you were alone as a Christian, this show, I think, after a year, has been the wide shot. You go, oh no, you are not alone. Every inch of this country, every inch of the state, all over the kind of epicenter where this studio is, are hundreds of organizations every day, 24 hours a day, serving some piece of need. And that's been powerful to see.
It is.
Yeah, and these organizations need each other. We need to be serving the kingdom together in this region.
In some way, by the way, these ministries are meeting in the green room,
Right.
and they're connecting and making great things happen.
I can attest to that. That's happened to me. Yeah,
Oh,
for
that's
sure.
wonderful.
So what are some of your favorite moments from the last year? Favorite moments on the show?
I think probably a big favorite moment for me was being able to introduce a governor of Pennsylvania who people have not thought about in years, but have heard the name, Governor James Beaver and his son Hugh Beaver. An extraordinary governor, both because he was a believer and trusted God, but because he had this family that ended up being in Christian service as well.
For me, Matt Hammett, we were interviewing Kirk Cameron in Western PA, and it turned out that Matt Hammett, the former lead singer of Sanctus Real, was there to be the music person for Kirk Cameron's tour, and we just walked up to him and said, hey, can we talk to you for a few minutes?
Yeah.
And so went there, just had no questions prepared, and just interviewed him. And just really, he talked about his faith, and he talked about stepping down from Sanctus Real, and really why family was so important. So that was
Such
that
a
was
humble interview.
Yes,
too.
it was.
Yeah.
These people are real people.
Right.
That's right. Yeah. We did a show on Vietnam 50 years after the end of the Vietnam War and the arrival of 15,000 Vietnamese refugees, and how the church in this area rallied, responded to them. Some lessons for us today is all these new immigrants move in, how to love people in Jesus' name and do it well.
I'm a football fan, but I don't love football. But so I was very surprised when the chaplain for the Philadelphia Eagles said yes to an interview. And so we were there at the stadium. This is before they won the Super Bowl.
A lot of believers on the team.
So it was amazing.
Yeah.
I didn't realize the role that a chaplain plays and how he is making a difference among the players.
I was talking to a pastor friend of mine that spent time with the Eagles yesterday. There's been revival on that team, so,
that's
go Birds.
wonderful.
I won't
And he
ask you
has
your
a
least
ring.
favorite guests, though. I won't ask that.
I guess in the final one, Tyree Cowan, who is the brand new student body president, young, energetic, fresh, but he talked about
where?
At Messiah
Messiah
University. Yeah, Tyree talked about the epidemic of fatherlessness in a very personal way and what it means to grow up with or without dads. And we had so much viewer feedback from that conversation on the panel.
Yeah, and for me, I think the last one would be when we interviewed Brendan Kenny. It was for National Down Syndrome Day, and he was on, and he talked with us, and it was just amazing what God is doing in his life and how he is thriving. And in fact, it was with that show that we received a Pennsylvania Association of Broadcasters Award. So
Wonderful.
It was a very touching interview.
Yeah, it was a cool validator to say that not only does our viewing audience appreciate it, but the rest of Pennsylvania sees value in the kind of programming that we're doing.
And I have friends and family that see it and they love what's happening, but they probably want to go back and watch some of these episodes you're talking about now, right? There's a way they can do that, I'm sure.
You can watch them on the app, or you can go to YouTube. They're there.
Well, thanks for stepping into the hot seat.
Thanks for interviewing us.
Glad to share.
Coming up next on this special edition of Morning Light.
Hi, I'm Jeff Coleman.
My bad, I'm sorry.
Well, we have a lot of fun making the show, from bloopers to some unscripted moments.
Wait,
We're going to share a
wait.
few of those favorites up next.
I am so sorry. Okay, wait now.
This is so unprofessional. Welcome back. Well, the staff arrives by 7:30 a.m. to read over the scripts and to make any needed changes.
We rehearse at 8:30, and that's where some of the fun happens. Take a look.
Good morning, I'm Jeff Coleman.
And I'm Debra Pinkerton. Welcome to Morning Light.
We'll take this question to the Morning Light panel. Good to
And
be
thanks
here.
so much for being with us.
Where we're what we call
Thank you for what you're
bridge
doing.
gappers,
Appreciate
the
us.
gap
Thank
bridgers.
you. Thank you for being with us.
Well, it's a pleasure, and give my
And
best
coming up next
to
on
your
Morning Light
husband.
Beat.
This is so good. This is great. Why?
Often we lose control.
You lose control. Good morning, I'm Jeff Coleman.
And I'm Debra.
I didn't do it.
Okay, I'm done.
This Thanksgiving Eve, in just a moment, our Morning Light panel will go. I can't say Thanksgiving Eve. There's no such thing. Okay, sorry.
You're like packing on the pounds.
Don't say that. Don't say that.
That's what
Don't say it.
I have not eaten my breakfast yet.
I know. Why did you say that? Good morning, I'm Jeff Coleman.
And I'm Debra Pinkerton. Welcome to Morning Light.
Sorry.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I'm Jeff Coleman.
And I'm Debra.
She forgot her name.
They tell you I didn't get enough sleep.
Drones. President-elect
That's
Donald
huge.
Hughes.
Huge.
That's huge, Debra. Yeah.
Oh. I'm always complimenting.
Complimenterizing.
I mean, we're real people.
Real people are
We
normal.
wear clothes. We wear real clothes.
We're normal.
We're somewhat normal. Well, the Bible says we should be eggs. He's laughing. I'm sorry, I really tried. Oh no. Okay.
We got this. Well, Morning Light is a live show. Sometimes our live guests are not in the best locations to be interviewed. One time, the PA Family Institute was live at the Supreme Court. You see behind him protesters banging a cowbell. Amazingly, you never heard it.
And that's what the case is about.
And during our election coverage, this guest was facing me initially, but by the end of the 5-minute interview, as you can see, his chair had swiveled toward the wall. And during our Body and Soul boxing segment, the boxing instructor had another move he wanted to show me.
Nobody freak out. I'm going to put my hands on our host, okay?
Okay.
On the host's neck.
And actually, you know what, Don? I think we've learned a lot, but I think we're going to have to throw it to break.
And we quickly learned that our mics are always hot, and that means they're always on. Did I get cut off at the end?
All right. Did that sound like an auctioneer? Yeah, she said we should keep talking, and we kept talking, and then we paid for it. Which one is yours? This is yours, mess here, because you were eating a lot.
No. This is mine.
The Bible is
Yeah, well, before the show even starts, there's a lot of thought that goes into clothing. My mom often comments on your clothing, Debra.
Yeah, and that is so nice of her. I really do appreciate it. You know, I go through a lot of pieces of clothing. I have to cycle through them.
My mom approves of virtually all of them.
Oh, that's so nice. I can tell you that my wardrobe has expanded since the start of the show. My husband says I need a bigger closet. Now yours, well, you have a wide array of ties.
And blue suits. It's not the same suit every day.
And your tie is great.
I do try to match my ties with your outfit.
Yeah, that is nice. Now, there was one occasion, though, you tried something different.
Yeah.
Remember that time?
Yeah, one time. Not just the blue suit. I decided that I would wear a beautiful green sweater underneath, and I got immediate feedback on that sweater. I'll never do it again.
Yes, we know. You haven't. From clothing to food, Friday is donut day here, and oftentimes you bring in the donuts.
I do my best, and many of our guests do. Sometimes the treats even make it on the set. Joe Green, this beautiful donut with me in the shape of a star, because you are the star of the show today. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
And while we have a lot of fun, we hope our program is making a difference in your life. Here are a few comments from our viewers.
Brett and Carla wrote, "We are grateful for your heart to provide strong Christ-centered programming with a biblical worldview. We have viewed every single episode and look forward daily to watching Morning Light at the end of our day together."
Bob and Deb shared, "We appreciate the panel discussions on current topics, and really they make us think. We especially love hearing about the organizations and nonprofits that are doing such a great work in our community."
And Robert said, "I am a 94-year-old widow, but I find all these morning installments have filled me with the love of God and my neighbors." We love hearing from you.
Coming up next on this special Morning Light, from tragedy to triumph, we've taken you all over the world.
We'll share highlights of some of the people we've interviewed who are making a difference every day with faith, not fear. Welcome back. Well, the main goal of our show is to talk about stories that are topping the headlines with a daily dose of encouragement. We've covered international stories. We took you to Kyiv, Ukraine, and spoke with a pastor who's serving on the front lines in the war with Russia.
When I'm praying for the soldiers, I pray for them not to die, but if they die, I want them dying knowing Jesus.
To another ongoing conflict in the Middle East. While there was bombing taking place in Israel, we spoke with a Pennsylvania businessman live in his bunker. After Pope Francis died, we were live from the Vatican in Rome, awaiting for the announcement of the new pope.
National stories have been in our headlines too. We covered the mid-air collision between an American Airlines plane and a Black Hawk military helicopter in Washington, D.C. We took you live to North Carolina, where volunteers help residents clean up in the aftermath of Hurricane Milton. We traveled to Plains, Georgia, following the death of President Jimmy Carter. And we took you live to Washington, D.C., where tens of thousands attended the 52nd Annual March for Life.
There have been a number of Pennsylvania stories that have caught our attention. That devastating fire at the governor's mansion just hours after a Passover celebration. We covered the shooting and funeral of West York Borough Patrolman Andrew Duarte.
We took you downtown to Harrisburg and the record-breaking crowd at the annual Pennsylvania March for Life. And we were on the red carpet for the premiere of Angel Studios' Brave the Dark. The movie is based on the life of Lancaster native Nate Dean and how his high school English and theater arts director at Garden Spot High School changed his life. From the headlines to the newsmakers, we've interviewed politicians to sports figures to entertainers.
From Vice President Mike Pence.
I hope we're able to convey to young people also that if you'll take these principles and you'll put them into practice, you can live out your faith in the public square and not just survive, but thrive
Well, he was so very open with us and shared his story, Pence's views on January 6th and so many other issues we talked about. Another political figure was in the Altoona area. We caught up with former Arkansas governor and two-time Republican presidential nominee, Mike Huckabee.
And I don't want to be a part of a party that is afraid of this issue. It's almost like, oh no, what are we going to do now? I'll tell you what we do now. We continue to argue that life begins at conception.
Well, he has since become the ambassador to Israel under President Donald Trump. In his clip, Huckabee was talking about the Republican Party and the pro-life movement.
And speaking of families, we traveled to Western Pennsylvania to interview former child actor and now outspoken Christian activist Kirk Cameron, who was on his Strong Families, Strong Communities tour.
Something that my pastor at that time said, he said, Kirk, if anybody ever asks you, how did you find God in Hollywood? Remember, you didn't find God. He wasn't lost. You were, and he found you. And he can find anybody anywhere.
And God is moving at the Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia, where the Eagles play. We spoke with the chaplain for the team, Pastor Ted Winsley.
I have an amazing opportunity. I'm not in there doing lectures. I'm ministering the gospel. So I have an opportunity to kind of walk them through the Word of God, to allow them to discover their relationship with God. Players have gotten born again in Bible studies. Coaches have given their lives to Christ in Bible studies here on the grounds of the facility.
And we've taken you on Pennsylvania faith trails. These stories highlight Pennsylvanians who've blazed a trail with faith that have a lasting and long legacy. Philadelphia John Wanamaker, known as the father of American retail, who's remembered for his Christian witness. He started Philly's largest and longest running homeless shelter for men, which is now known as Philly House.
Marian Anderson broke color barriers when she performed on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial and sang America.
And President James Buchanan is considered one of America's worst. We learned after he left the White House, President Buchanan had an encounter with a pastor who led him to faith in Christ.
Fanny Crosby wrote timeless hymns, more than 8,000, many of which still we sing today. She performed at Zion Lutheran Church in Harrisburg. Here is musician Brian McGrady playing Blessed Assurance. We also strive to introduce you to Christian nonprofits that help with almost all of our needs and concerns.
Drug and alcohol addiction are major problems in society. We've talked with so many nonprofits. Sex trafficking is a growing concern. There are so many agencies combating this form of modern-day slavery.
We also talked about issues men and women face that include mental health to homelessness. We visited the Bethesda Mission in Harrisburg and traveled to the Philly House in Philadelphia. These organizations help people get back on their feet, like Mission Central in Mechanicsburg, who provides disaster relief services. While there are needs in the States, some of the needs abroad are greater. We painted braces for kids with clubfoot in Africa.
And while we highlight nonprofits, we like to talk about a broad variety of topics that matter to our viewers, like our body and soul segments. We showed you how to get started with an exercise program and stay fit, the best ways to lose weight, and how to incorporate healthy habits into everyday life. Entertainment is always a popular subject.
We've interviewed local musicians to national recording artists like We Are Messengers.
It used to be I wanted the audience to come and see us, and now I come to see them. It's all His glory, but how splendid that He would let me do something I love for this long, for the people that we love. It's been the greatest privilege of our lives.
And Stephen Curtis Chapman.
And that's really how Show Hope started. We just started helping one family, 5 families, 10 families. We thought, gosh, what if we could help 100 families adopt a child that wouldn't be able to otherwise?
We've also talked with personalities from radio hosts like Brandon Sherry to Kirk Waller of The Chosen.
Kirk Waller plays the centurion in The Chosen, but he also played the role of the pastor in the best Christmas pageant ever. He became emotional about the mission of the movie.
And through that, it just reminds us of what's, really important in the world, and the values of not judging somebody, and just goodness.
Our segments touch people in so many ways. In some cases, they were overcome with emotion. Artist Elva Hurst's dedication to her mission became pretty apparent.
I really do feel the hand of God in my hand, and just try my best to communicate those things that mean so much to me, which is a relationship with God and just helping others to connect with God and to discover how He can make a difference in their lives and how they can make a difference in the lives of others by sharing the same love that they experience with God.
A Pennsylvania couple shared with us how their 4-year-old daughter pointed them to Christ.
And then we started attending and seeing my little girl preaching the Lord touched our hearts, and we were hooked. Until you get to know God and get Him in your life, you don't know what you're missing until you have it in your life. And when you find it, it's an overwhelming feeling you just can't deny.
We are so blessed to share faith-inspired stories with you on Morning Light.
So to remind us of the special people that we interact with, we've asked them all to sign our wall, and we've had nearly 400 guests in the show, both here and in the studio and remotely. And as you can see, we have hundreds of signatures.
We look forward to introducing you to new faith-based organizations over the next year, and we certainly hope these organizations have uplifted you.
Yeah, I think we've only scratched the surface, because there are hundreds, thousands across Pennsylvania who are doing this kind of work every single day.
And we certainly want to make a difference. So we thank you for watching this special edition of Morning Light, our 1-year anniversary.
So go check on your neighbors, and we'll see you again very soon.